Case against alleged Parliament arsonist Zandile Mafe has been postponed to the 4th of November for further pre-trial hearings. Mafe pulled a no-show again after he allegedly refused to leave the Pollsmoor prison. The 49-year-old has been in custody since January after the old and new assembly went on flames. And let's get the latest now, and we speak to our reporter, Nasiphi, who has been covering this particular story. Nasiphi, good morning to you. So once again, Mr. Zandile Mafe, a no-show in court. Have the lawyers representing him said anything about his absence?
Well, Oli, I have Livoyo Godla, who is representing Mafe, right next to me, who during proceedings said that he does distance himself from Mafe's conduct, and a number of twists and turns since the start of this year, following that devastating fire in Parliament in January, early in January. So there's been a drag, or rather twists and turns, and now for his second pre-trial conference, Mafe pulled a no-show. If you remember, the last time we were here a couple of weeks ago, he did come to the Western Cape High Court. However, in the holding cell, refused to leave the holding cell, citing that he was not feeling well, he was in pajamas, and the fact that he was had embarked on a hunger strike. But for more, I'm joined by Luvuyo Godla, the lawyer. Luvuyo, you said something quite interesting earlier on, the fact that you are distancing yourself from your client's behavior. Talk to us about that. That is the second time, or rather this is the second time that is pulling a no-show.
Okay. What I say, I distance myself from his conduct. Surely does not imply that I distance myself from him. I still dearly wanted to help him, Mr. Mafe. But I literally mean that it was not my advice not to come to court. As you have correctly stated, that on the previous occasion, he refused to take a dog. And again today, he is refusing. He did not take a dog today. And mind you, when I say I distance myself from that conduct, it's because his matter is before Supreme Court of Appeal. And I should only at any time be given a date for the hearing. So I do not want a situation where I will be confronted with a question of whether he will abide and comply with the bail conditions, when in fact his conduct is in this fashion. So this is why I say that I distance myself from his conduct. However, if regard is had to the level of education, social standing of Mr. Mafe, and many other more issues, one will understand that it does not necessarily mean that he disrespects the court, but it's only a way of showing dissatisfaction, which unfortunately has got a meaning of disrespecting the court. I will then therefore consult with him, and as well senior counsel, the leader of our team, undertook as well that next week he will be around Cape Town, so we will go and consult with him.
In court, you had a number of requests that Mr. Mafe made to you, coffee, a kettle, including a TV. Do you think that this protest or dissatisfaction, as you put it, is a result of the requests that he had put forward?
Definitely sure. It sheds light only to that reasoning, because on the previous occasions we were embarking and engaging Pollsmoor authorities already on this issue, which is subsequent to previous appearance which he refused to take a dog. We had some other engagements as well with Pollsmoor authorities, and it was thereafter confirmed yesterday that, look, because you know they injure and they burn each other, we can never allow a kettle inside. Unfortunately, I did not have time to convey that to Mr. Mafe. Hoping that today he is appearing in court and I will have time to convey that to him, which he is not here today. I will assume that he was advised and then now in retaliation thereof he decided not to come to court. This is why I assume that it is due to that decision.
I mean, the matter has been postponed now to the 4th of November. Is there any guarantee following today's no-show that he will be back in court come the 4th of November? What guarantees do we have, or what are you going to perhaps say to him to ensure that he comes to court on the 4th of November?
Obviously, Mr. Mafe, he will come to court on the 4th. As I've already indicated to you, that he does not know the implications of what he's doing. It is correct for any individual to show dissatisfaction on any issue. However, it does not automatically follow that one understands the implication of how he or she expresses himself. Now, I will assume, therefore, upon being advised of the implications of what he's doing, more in particular to his bail appeal before Supreme Court of Appeal, surely I trust Mr. Mafe. He will come to his senses and understand what might be the consequences of not coming to court.
Previously, when he did not appear, he also cited, or you cited rather, that he was incapacitated and the fact that he was on a hunger strike. Were you able to confirm with prison officials or Department of Correctional Services that he had indeed embarked on that hunger strike?
If you heard me on previous occasion, I said that this is the information I only obtained from him, because the matter had to stand down for me to quickly go consult with him. Then I did not have time to confirm with the prison authorities. However, I advised the court that this is what he indicated to me, and I saw what he had on, and he told me this is a pyjama, and maybe I might be backward. To me, when I looked at it, it indeed resembled a pyjama. Obviously, the hunger strike issue, I only addressed the court on information, veracity of which I could not put myself on a block until such is confirmed with Pollsmoor authorities. And subsequent to that, that was not confirmed. So I will still go sit with Mr. Mafe and reason with him. As I've already indicated, that I assume that upon becoming aware about the implications of what he is doing, of how he expresses his dissatisfaction, he will come to his senses.
I mean, the state is still looking at Section 78, if I'm correct. Earlier on of the trial, or not even the trial rather, but beginning of January, he was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia, which was later challenged by yourself, and it was successful. Do you think that perhaps maybe how he expresses himself, it gives grounds to the state to continue to explore Section 78?
Look, remember, our main concern with that Section 78 application, which was brought and confirmed by the court, magistrate court, that was subsequently set aside by the High Court full bench. The issue was a procedure. Remember, law says everyone is presumed to be 100% mentally, until there is something that sheds light to a reasoning that a person is not okay. At any time, one can invoke provisions of Section 78 during the trial. This is what law says. And upon such application, and ordinarily, I said, it's always the defense that invokes provisions of Section 78. Even though if you look at the linguistic meaning, how is it drafted, it could as well be brought by the state. But it should be upon realizing something. You can't simply look at someone and say, this person is not mentally okay. Even with this incident, I can never, that would be very dangerous and risky to take a view that it clearly shows that is not mentally fit. We ought to follow a certain procedure. Remember, I said people behave differently. Some would do things which are so uncalled for in retaliation or showing their dissatisfaction on a particular issue. So this one, it would be very premature to assume that because Mr. Mafe is showing his dissatisfaction and conducting himself in this manner, therefore it implies he has got a mental problem. That would be risky. There ought to be some other more things, and there should be a certain observation more than 72 hours by the expert before we can come to that conclusion.
Thank you so much. Luvuyo Godla, representing Zandile Mafe, who is standing accused of being the man behind the arson that occurred in Parliament, engulfing a large part of Parliament early January. Still, standing by Mafe, saying that he does believe that come the 4th of November, when the pre-trial conference is set again here at the Western Cape High Court, that Mr. Mafe will indeed be present for the first time for that, and he believes that this is just Mr. Mafe expressing his dissatisfaction to some of the requests that he had put forward.
Nasiphi, a very, very comprehensive update indeed on this matter. We shall wait to see whether Mr. Mafe will indeed show up in court in the near future. That's my colleague Nasiphi live for us at the court.